What if I told you that despite living in an era where you can fly from New York to Tokyo in a single day, there's a massive invisible barrier stretching across one of our planet's major oceans? Every single day, approximately 100,000 commercial flights crisscross our globe, creating an intricate web that connects virtually every corner of the Earth. Yet hidden within this seemingly complete network lies a puzzling void that most travelers never even notice. This mysterious gap spans the South Atlantic Ocean, creating an aviation desert between two of our planet's most populous continents. While booking a flight from London to New York takes mere seconds online, try finding a direct route from São Paulo to Cape Town, and you'll discover one of modern aviation's most intriguing enigmas: two giants divided by more than water. The numbers behind this aviation mystery are absolutely mind-boggling when you consider the scale of what we're dealing with. Africa, our planet's second-largest continent, is home to over 1.4 billion people, representing nearly 1/5 of all humanity. South America, while geographically smaller, still hosts an impressive 430 million inhabitants across its diverse nations. Together, these continental powerhouses account for roughly 1/4 of the world's entire population. Yet despite this massive demographic presence, finding regular commercial flights between these regions remains surprisingly challenging. The distance between Brazil's northeastern coast and West Africa measures only about 2,900 kilometers, remarkably shorter than many popular intercontinental routes that operate hundreds of flights daily, such as the bustling New York to Paris corridor, which spans over 5,800 kilometers. When pioneers ruled the South Atlantic skies, the irony deepens when we examine aviation's fascinating early history, revealing that trans-South Atlantic flights weren't always this rare phenomenon. In 1922, courageous Portuguese aviators accomplished the remarkable feat of completing the first transcontinental crossing of this ocean, island-hopping their way from Lisbon all the way to Rio de Janeiro in an epic multi-stage journey that captured the world's imagination. Just 5 years later, French pilots achieved what many considered impossible at the time. These daring aviators completed the first non-stop flight across the South Atlantic, soaring directly from Senegal to Brazil in a single breathtaking leap of faith and engineering. During the golden age of commercial aviation in the 1930s, the South Atlantic actually bustled with regular air traffic, featuring established routes operated by French, Italian, and German airlines, while the legendary Graf Zeppelin airship majestically floated between Frankfurt and Rio de Janeiro from 1931 to 1937. The safety paradox of modern aviation. Here's where our story takes a fascinating twist that reveals the complex nature of modern aviation safety. Surprisingly, pilots of that pioneering era actually considered South Atlantic crossings significantly easier than their North Atlantic counterparts, thanks to notably calmer weather patterns and fewer of those turbulent jet streams that routinely plague northern routes. However, today's stringent safety regulations have created entirely new challenges that simply didn't exist during aviation's more daredevil early days. Modern commercial aircraft equipped with twin engines must remain within a strict 60-minute flying time of a suitable airport, a crucial rule designed to ensure safe emergency landings should one engine fail during flight. The vast South Atlantic Ocean presents an extremely sparse landscape of potential refuge points, with only 3 viable emergency options scattered across thousands of kilometers of open water: remote St. Helena Island, military-operated Ascension Island, and Brazil's Fernando de Noronha. The colonial legacy that shaped flight paths. The dramatic decline in South Atlantic air traffic after the prosperous 1930s reveals much deeper historical and political forces at work than simple logistics or safety concerns. During aviation's early commercial period, the vast majority of African territories remained under European colonial rule, creating strong administrative and economic ties that naturally pulled air routes northward toward colonial capitals like London, Paris, and Lisbon. Meanwhile, most South American countries had already achieved their independence decades or even centuries earlier. This colonial legacy firmly established flight patterns that prioritized connections between Africa and Europe, where extracted natural resources, administrative personnel, and accumulated wealth naturally flowed along established imperial lines. The precious few trans-South Atlantic routes that exist today still reflect these enduring historical, linguistic, and cultural bonds, such as flights between Brazil and Angola or Cape Verde, stemming from their shared Portuguese colonial heritage. The economics behind empty skies. The ultimate answer to our South Atlantic aviation mystery lies not in geography, safety regulations, or even historical patterns, but in the cold, hard reality of economic mathematics. Africa and South America generate approximately $3.1 trillion and $3.9 trillion in annual GDP, respectively. Impressive numbers that pale in comparison to the economic powerhouses of North America and Europe. These northern regions support over 2,000 daily transatlantic flights, despite having smaller combined populations, but with economies each worth over $25 trillion annually. This dramatic economic disparity creates a cascading effect that fundamentally determines global flight patterns and passenger demand. European and North American economies heavily rely on specialized, high-value industries like pharmaceuticals, advanced engineering, entertainment, and international finance that generate substantial business travel demand, while many African and South American economies remain primarily focused on resource extraction and agriculture. Hope on the horizon. Despite these historical challenges, our story takes a genuinely optimistic turn when we examine current trends and future possibilities. As of 2024, only 5 non-stop routes connect Africa and South America, but Africa currently hosts several of the world's fastest-growing economies, strongly suggesting that increased South Atlantic connectivity isn't a question of if, but rather when these developments will materialize. As these emerging economies continue diversifying and regional wealth increases, coupled with the global aviation industry's ongoing recovery from recent pandemic disruptions, we can reasonably expect growing demand for direct intercontinental flights. The few existing routes already demonstrate this remarkable potential for growth and connection. After years of suspension due to financial difficulties and pandemic-related challenges, South African Airways triumphantly resumed its Snow Polo service in October 2023, operating from both Cape Town and Johannesburg with up to 4 weekly flights using modern fuel-efficient aircraft. Meanwhile, Ethiopian Airlines maintains consistent service linking Addis Ababa to both São Paulo and Buenos Aires, representing one of the most reliable trans-South Atlantic connections available to travelers today. What aspects of this aviation mystery fascinate you the most? Have you ever personally encountered this gap in global flight networks during your own international travels? Join the World Documentaries community by subscribing to our channel and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear about your experiences with long-distance travel or any other intriguing geographic puzzles you've discovered. Do even forget to like this video if you enjoyed uncovering the secrets behind our planet's hidden flight patterns. And stay tuned for more mind-bending explorations of the forces that quietly shape our interconnected world.